Okay, there you go.
All right. Good morning, everybody. What we're going to discuss today is kind of the delineation and kind of the necessity as to how clubs are structured and project affiliation and how that impacts the ES 237 report. I'll have some pieces to show as an example in where you can look for those things, but I'm going to share my screen here and we'll walk through different elements of club structure and kind of how that works, and then also member project affiliation. So without further ado, we'll go ahead and share my screen. So one of the things, we'll start off with this. One of the things that we should become well versed at is pulling an ES 237 report. The ES 237 report is the annual federal report that we submit to USDA and NIFA. It's submitted electronically. There's nothing that you have to do on your end, with the exception of making sure we have data to submit. And the more accurate that we can make sure that our numbers are, the better off we are for that. So what we're looking at here is the summation, or what's considered the all, and it gives us a breakdown. Youth members and organized 4-H community clubs. Then it recognizes members in organized in-school clubs, after-school, military, and then you get a number here with your total 4-H club membership. Then if you come down to the bottom, total with duplicates included. So your duplicates, it's picking up numbers for what's submitted off of your group enrollments and that type of thing, but I'll kind of explain how the numbers get factored in and where we can get into trouble with especially our club membership numbers, with not having clubs set up correctly, if you will. But this report gives you a breakdown of your school grade participation, place of residence, so it's going to go through all of your race, ethnicity, demographic type components. And then it goes into your adult volunteers, and then lastly it ends with engagement within the respective project areas. So Idaho right now, ironically, is in the middle of a civil rights review, and so that information, it's a pretty tedious task, and I don't envy Carrie all the hard work that she had to do to get these reports organized. I'm telling you, it's a lot of, you get a master's degree in creating pivot tables, that's for sure. But the reason why it's really important to make sure our club numbers are set up right, and I need to move this so I can see my state here. Okay. So when we talk about clubs, the clubs is kind of the overarching framework for how members engage into the traditional program. Now, there's a variety of different clubs. A club can be an after-school club if it's an organized after-school club, and what I mean by that is the members are meeting, they're doing what is considered traditional 4-H business. They're actually meeting as a group and doing projects. Now, if you're doing after-school programming that's more appropriate for what's reported on the group enrollment, that's fine. But when we think about our traditional club participation, members they need to be part of an organizational club, and that's the overarching, and then they engage in projects. So the club, so for example, I was a member of the Eager Beavers Club, and in that club we did community service projects. Sometimes we did fundraising. I would also do presentations. for different demonstrations for the different projects I was in. Now, when I was a 4-H member, our county was set up a little bit differently. We have what is known as project or county-wide projects, because we would have members from all the different clubs in the county come to that project leader, and that was based off of availability of the project leader. So in that county, we only had one project leader that did horse, for example, or one project leader that did cat. So we set up our club, then we set up our projects. What happens when it comes time for the ES 237, it's if you had every project that's offered in the state of Nevada set up as a club and also had those children enrolled in those same projects, what that does is that doubles the numbers and the math. And that's a very simplified picture, but that's exactly what it does on the ES 237. Franklin County, for example, in Nevada, has on average 400 participants. Prior to us going through and cleaning up their clubs, their project enrollment numbers were at 900 to 1,000. So in digging through their ES 237, we discovered that not only were the members of the beef club, which was, I think there is a place where it was counting them as a member of the beef club and in that beef project, and then also counting them double duty in the actual project enrollment. So if you have questions on that, please let Carrie and I know. But the nice thing about the ES 237, as I mentioned earlier, this is a report that can be pulled at any time. And it is a good bellwether, if you will, as far as tracking where you're at with your numbers, be it overall enrollment numbers, overall leader numbers, and or even your project numbers. So from your enrollment tab on the dashboard, if you click on your reports icon, which is the furthest to the right, what you can do is on the first drop-down menu, you can select the program year. You can pull for current year. Your numbers probably are not going to be as high at this point, but it can give you an opportunity to look at things. But just for the sake of demonstration, excuse me, we're going to pull a report from the previous year. And I need to select a county. And where you access the ES 237 report, so if we're on the Enrollments Reports tab, if you click on Standard, you'll see here a variety of standard reports that are available to us in the system. But if you scroll down to ES 237, all reports pulls everything, so that gives you your club membership numbers, volunteer numbers, all your demographic information, also projects. But you can break it down, activity, ethnicity, volunteer, youth count, or participation. But we're going to go ahead and pull an all report. I didn't want to hide it. Just simply highlight the report and do a right click, and you have the option here to export to Excel or export to PDF. I've been doing a lot of exporting to Excel. Makes it handy for copying, pasting, and contrasting into other Excel spreadsheets. But the PDF is nice because it's a little cleaner, a little easier to read, especially with the title headings. That's one thing on the spreadsheet. You're going to see the A. All the text is kind of hidden because it's long and they don't wrap the text. So I've gone so far as making a little cheat sheet as far as the different headings, what A means, what B means. But for last year for Elko County, youth members in organized 4-H clubs was 343. They had 122 youth participating in camping programs. total with duplications included is 657. Gives you a breakdown here of school grade, residency, ethnicity, and race totals, your volunteer count. Given that part of my responsibility is curriculum, we utilize this information actually for 4 or 5 years worth of programming to kind of evaluate, okay, where with the over 180 projects that we offered at that point in time, where are our enrollments at? Where is the interest at? And then subsequently in the review of the curricula, is the information that we're using the most current and relevant? So this is a great opportunity where you can compare and contrast your enrollment numbers and go, okay, so what projects do we have a strong response to, if you will, as far as where our membership is? Are there areas where we can, use that as an opportunity to grow? So something that's coming right to the top of my mind as far as opportunity to increase enrollment or, increase opportunity. For ELCO in particular, civic engagement. There's a lot of different opportunities. Only had 5 engagement in that, so maybe some civic government education, different project offerings. Now, one thing too is also to kind of do a needs assessment and see where interests lie. Maybe there isn't an interest in that community, in that content area, and that's okay. But I see those as opportunities. So maybe they don't know it's there. Maybe there's different curriculum that could be used to engage in that curriculum area. There's a lot of different opportunities available, environmental earth sciences, and then also in healthy living. So you can see here where enrollment numbers are at, and it's a great conversation to engage youth in, as well as the volunteers. Okay, where do we want this program to go? Where are some opportunities? That being said, if you're going to build something, you do need volunteer support to support that. Without our volunteers, we would not have a 4-H program. As much as we would like to offer all the different project offerings that are available to us, we do need volunteers with their time and talents to help with that delivery, if you will, of that content. So but it's really critical with the ES 237 to make sure your clubs and your projects are set up correctly. Make sure you've checked your enrollments. You don't want to have a huge addition of members after your fair has already occurred. There's several reasons for that. The primary one is risk management, but seriously though, we want to make sure we're checking at all times to just make sure we have enrollment submitted, going through that process of reviewing what information is coming in, who do I have in my pending list, and that's just simply going into your system, being kind of diligent on the confirmed members piece. If you don't have anybody needing approval and they're all re-enrolled, great. If you haven't started the re-enrollment process, don't wait. There's a lot of opportunities available to 4-H. And that being said too, we have a hard time, and that's one of our conversations in Idaho, is that 4-H timeline. More and more as we go forward, we hear stories of people doing meetings that have not re-enrolled, and there are several factors that give us a lot of gray hair on that. If somebody gets hurt, that's a liability for that leader if they're doing that. That can get very expensive. And then who's to say what the ramifications would be from our university as far as what risk management would have to say about how we manage our program if something like that were to happen. So green is go, good to go, but by all means, think about that re-enrollment timeline, get it in, get it done. Then it eliminates a lot of uncertainty and a lot of questions as far as, okay, are we using best practices in our program? Can I definitively say, okay, all my volunteers are certified, have gone through the screening, are active status, and are green light, if you will, to meet with youth? And if they aren't, then you got to engage in conversations to get that ball rolling and to get that process completed as soon as possible. It's just, in this day and age, we can't afford to do business any differently. It's just, there's too much at stake. The integrity of the program, the integrity of the university you're representing, and the list can go on. And our paramount concern, of course, is providing a safe place for children. And so there's a lot of ripples from that. So again, I kind of went through that fairly quick, but the big piece is making sure you look at your clubs. Clubs can be set up by geographic area, which is pretty common, and then you can have youth from those different projects come in, be a member of that club, but there definitely is a rhyme or reason, if you will, and a progression to how that structure impacts the final report. Are there any questions on what I covered? Or are there any issues that I can help you guys out with? Okay. In my tickets, I haven't run across any system issues at this point. I've had a lot of issues with our Idaho County. We have a lot of people that try to do their enrollment process on a telephone, and although we are in the state of Idaho, we have an Idaho County, and inevitably we have family accounts or even individual members who end up in Idaho County, and I have to move them back. But beyond that, the system is doing what it should be doing. I know development is going on as we speak for version 2.0, which is pretty exciting, and work is still ongoing for the record book. And I'm engaged in both of those conversations. Record book is going to be huge. The states that are involved in kind of working with James on kind of what that framework should look like. It's been an interesting conversation as far as bringing different states together on the overall philosophy of what a record book is, what content do we need to have, what does the finished product look like when it comes time for producing something for judging, and then how members can engage or interact with that record book throughout the course of their 4-H year. And even looking at details as far as how volunteers access the information, can supply suggestions, kind of doing, there's a lot of different things, but I truly believe this is kind of the last final hurdle for 4-H to get into the 21st century. This is a big change in how our youth will do projects, and I think we're all on the same general feeling, is that record books kill us. We lose a lot of enrollments and retention, particularly as youth age. And understandable, there's a lot of demand on their time, be it school, sports, church, family, farm, you name it. Time is a commodity, but the record books, if they're erroneous and paper-based, It's not keeping up with the times. It's not utilizing record keeping skills that they really need. And it's not harnessing a tool that they want to use. So hopefully, I'm really excited. I'd love to say I have a demo of that right now at this point, but we don't. We're getting close to that, but as we get closer, if we get something, I will definitely share that with you guys. It's pretty exciting, and it's definitely a passion of mine just because I do see the numbers. We do have definitely a cycle with our older youth, particularly in Idaho. They hit high school, our numbers drop significantly. There's some changes we're making programmatically, but if we can make a change to what the record book is, help them, complete the work, can record the work, utilize technology, and make it not so laborious, but that it's still showing that these youth are doing this hard work and taking the time into their projects. I think our programs will be better off for that. So it's pretty exciting. So other than that, I don't know, did you have anything you wanted me to cover, Carrie?
No, I think that was, sorry, I had to step away. I had, they came into my office to ask a couple questions. So, I don't, Louisa, do you guys have anything that you're dealing with in Clark? Or Marie, have you thought of anything?
Well, Snoopy has to say hi.
Aww, he's gotten big.
Oh yeah. He's nosy toesy. He's like, what are you doing? What are you doing, Mom?
Mine does the same thing when I'm at home. So
the three other ones are outside. So he's like, he can kind of see them. Snoopy down. Ah! He's thinking that he needs to go out and see them. So
yes. All right. I can't think of anything else. So all
right.
Thank you.
Well, keep me posted. So the next couple of weeks are a little helter-skelter.
Yep. Okay.
The 30th, actually Monday, I'm in Boise. Then I go to Boise again on the 9th.
Okay.
But other than that, the rest of the Wednesdays should be okay.
Okay.
So I don't know as far as.
I think the 9th was the only other one that we had.
Okay.
So.
All right.
Okay. And I'll send a notice out. So Marie and Louisa, just so you guys know, the 9th we will cancel the training. So, but I'll send an email out to everybody, let them know. So.
All right. Well, thank you. Have a great day, everybody. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.